firefighting, blazes may still occur. That's why it's important to have a manual fire extinguisher as one of your consumable items, ready to douse those flames with the touch of a button. If you have the gold or credits to spare, you can upgrade to an automatic fire extinguisher, which will add 10% to fire protection. But remember, both of these items are single-use only. Good luck, and we'll see you on the battlefield. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the WGLNA. I'm Joshua Gray, joined by Randall Holcomb, as always. We're going to be getting ready for our fourth match of the night, our final match of WreaK HavoK versus Penguin Mafia. Before we do, quick reminder, make sure to follow us on Twitter. I'm Clutch08. He's Rookkill with 2 U's. We are WGLNA. Make sure to follow us. Hashtag WGLNA. Facebook.com/WGLNA. You use Facebook. I use Facebook. We all use Facebook. Hit that like button. Question today, Randall. First impression. What are your first impressions so far?
I definitely like this. I feel like we're moving faster between battles. Like you get one battle, you get another, and it's rapid fire, and you get to see who is better over a period of time on one map, and then you switch it up to make sure it wasn't just that map, like Himmelsdorf. You get to see who's clearly stronger on Himmelsdorf in Doge Squad versus Warriors of Honor. It changed up a little bit on Ruinberg, where it seemed like they were more prepared, but you got to explore the map more and explore your opponent more in an extended series, as opposed to when we used to see one map one time and you got one of the two sides. And that I felt like we hit a map and then we would kind of forget it. Whereas here we're saying you can really explore your options because you're playing this 4 times and you're playing it on one side twice.
Yeah, and I believe that the audience is going to appreciate strategy more and see more strategy because of the duplication of the maps compared to one and done throughout an entire series. Yes. But it's the nature of attack defense. Can you truly beat this team on this map? Guess what? You have 2 chances to attack and 2 chances to defend, and we'll all know definitively that yes, you're better than this team, or no, you're not. Yeah. And I do enjoy that. I believe the audience is going to enjoy that, but I look forward to looking at these tweets. Thanks for the tweets you sent into production. Let us know what you think of the format. We are continually, as an entire collective here at World of Tanks and Wargaming, doing the best we can to bring you the best show possible, but not only for the audience, but also for the players as well.
Actually, speaking of playing this format, it's a different way to look at the way the question of the day. What do you think about going through a series, 8 battles, potentially a 9th?
Sure. I feel that attack, defense is enough time on one map to like, whoa, we really got to change something, guys. Yeah. All right, let's reset. We're going into map 2. It's still anybody's game. Let's do this. It's almost like a halftime within that series. I think it works well. I've also enjoyed playing the team battles with a 7x54 format in the game itself, and you can do so as well. Find a team. Easiest ways to find a team, jump on board, hop into a tank that's going to fit those 54 points, and then have fun. But calling in this type of format, 754, is fun in a sense of you feel very accomplished when you are able to tactfully move around the opponent and use every tank in your arsenal instead of, hey, T1s, let me know what's happening, or I'll be in a T1 and try to guide. I feel everybody's working more as a unit, as a collective unit, which is really cool. Let's go ahead and check out the team roster for these 2 teams, WreaK HavoK versus Penguin Mafia. WreaK HavoK joined us in Season 1. Unfortunately, they got knocked out. They've been plagued by attendance issues and consistency, but they want to prove that they deserve to be in the Gold League once again. They're ready to wreak some havoc. Penguin Mafia, they have been members of Volt and members of other clans in the past, and they are here to display not hold my beer tactics from the Go Bob, but the BFH tactics, and that means bigger freaking hammer. That's Penguin Mafia. Battle number 1 on Cliff. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
Well, for tanks, we have 2 Pershings, a T69, 2 1390s, T49, and a T37 on the side of Penguin Mafia. That's an interesting lineup. Check my math on that one. Are they short? No. I missed T49 and a T37. It's so strange. Oh. I didn't believe we would see a T49, so I just got super
It's
confused.
okay. It's all right. I put it out there, and now it's come true.
Yes.
There it is, the T49.
Okay, I really should point out WreaK HavoK's Pershing T69 1392 RU251s.
Yes.
Pay attention to that.
Yep.
And the M41s. But real quick, engagement right off the bat. Armor's taking some damage, and that's 463, less than Scrublet needed on Rainbow 41. And the high ground will go to WreaK HavoK at the beginning, but the overmatch in numbers goes to Penguin Mafia, and they're going to kill Call Me Sarge.
Penguin Mafia still has all their tanks. Armor left at 11 HP is going to fall back. Cyril at 251. He is going to be the next one to fall, and he does. That's 3 tanks down for WreaK HavoK. Penguin Mafia still with all 7.
And Penguin Mafia still pushing in the middle. They've got Wolf Knife Laser Bacon going after Rich Sniper, and he's tearing him apart. Just needs a little backup, and I think that'll finish it off.
251, next one to fall. Blaze Zero from around the corner gets the shot and the kill. 3 tanks remain. Still all tanks left alive for Penguin Mafia, and Scrublet actually is the first to fall.
His final shell going way off in the air into nothing. That RNG not helping him today.
That's a tough that's a tough outcome as the gunner going, oh man, how could that have bounced? Triumph, the insult tanker, takes a couple hits from around and dancing around their opponents, Ice Dragon and Blackhawk. Blackhawk, last alive, will collect the letters of his fellow men and die an honorable death. He goes down. WreaK HavoK falls to Penguin Mafia. Swiftly, decisively, in the center. Penguin had some really, really good shots. I want to actually take a look, if we could, to the accuracy impact between the 2 teams.
Accuracy as in their hits to pegs
yeah,
and such?
I wonder if a lot of those weren't necessarily misses, but just non-penetrating
Okay,
shots.
so I got 6 for 6, 5 for 6. It doesn't look like a whole lot of people on the side of Penguin Mafia were really bouncing shells. There were a few missed shells. T49 missed his second shell, but on the other side you are seeing just less shells getting out in general because of a better swarm, I think, from Penguin Mafia. And sorry, I went and closed that. I want to bring that back up, if you let me. And everything that you saw from Penguin Mafia is just every hit was a pen.
Yes.
You didn't see bounces.
Yes.
That was important. Unfortunately, one of their tanks did fall short, but because of everyone else's performance and the focus fire, exceptional play, and a little bit of luck in the strategy working out so you had a bit of an overmatch in the West, everything just kind of came together and they performed exceptionally well.
It's the next level of finesse is what I was trying to get at with the details of these stats, and did it beautifully with showing that they did not bounce a lot of these shots, next to none. This is what's going to make the difference between a great team and a phenomenal team. It's not only hitting your tank, hitting the enemy tank, but knowing where to hit. Knowing this is a crucial shot, I cannot bounce, I have to aim in this quadrant, or I have to wait a couple more seconds in order to line this up correctly to get away from this angled armor. And that is going to make the difference. And that could possibly make the difference between WreaK HavoK and Penguin Mafia tonight, but that was only the first battle. Next battle is going to take place on Cliff once again. WreaK HavoK is going to be attacking. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
For tanks, 2 Pershings, T69, 2 1390s, that T49 yet again. Let's see if Scrublet can make all of his shells connect. Probability's not with him, but good luck to you. And then that T37 to finish it off. WreaK HavoK, red team in attacking, 2 Pershings, T69, 1390, and RU251, and then 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. I am really confused by the choice of Scrublet's T49. I would have chosen the RU, but if this T49 gets in the right position and is allowed to fire as much as he would like, then certainly it's going to work out. He is heading towards the lighthouse this time, and if he is on the lighthouse, he's going to be able to fire down on any of these light tanks, and those HE shells hurt even more from above.
Ooh, shot fired coming from Wolf Knife, Laser Bacon, and Gigmaster. Gigmaster, that's a name we're familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Rainbow is able to dodge one of the shots coming from the donut side. It's the western side with a giant rock. Rich Sniper's hit for 216 damage. Call Me Sarge gets hit for 217. 320 on that volley now, and a little bit more dinks in the armor of WreaK HavoK here.
And now Armor's taking a little bit of fire. Kaiser Soze is moving up as an M41 right behind a few tanks on the flank, and he might be able to pick up a kill, but I think he's overmatched too much to be successful. He's going to have to pull out and make a distraction of himself, but he's about...
Oh, huge shot into Rainbow. That Walker Bulldog from up top was trying to flank that fire from Penguin Mafia and pulled him away from the center. They were taking too much damage, but 2 volleys takes down that tank almost instantaneously. Serial 42 now again surrounded and destroyed by Penguin Mafia. 2 tanks remain for WreaK HavoK. They are having some trouble against Penguin Mafia. Call me Sarge now moving away from Ice Dragon. Can't tell if he's loaded or not. Ice Dragon is able to dodge 2 shots in that T-69, but Penguin Mafia, all tanks still left alive, Root-Kill, as they go up for the cleanup.
Yeah, this isn't even an attack-defense kind of an argument here. This is a purely just making a strategy and playing right now. Penguin Mafia is doing everything right, reading their opponent perfectly as far as I'm concerned, and just destroying them. And WreaK HavoK is trying some stuff out, like the M41 Walker Bulldog flank. Yeah, that didn't really work that well. They kind of threw him away, really. He didn't do as much damage as he received. And I'm worried about WreaK HavoK. This is a team that used to be one of the best, that used to perform exceptionally well. But they've gutted their roster, and I think that they're not the same team that we used to know. This is an entirely different team under the call of Call Me Sarge.
Under the call of Call Me Sarge.
I really, immediately after saying that, I was like, oh, okay.
No, it's all right. Hey, word association's a fun game to play.
But I always cringe at it.
I know. With my puns and your word association, we're going to go far, Randall. We're going to go far. I think we're doing just fine. I want to bring up that principle that you talked about, though, of the Bulldog being on the hill. I can see what they're trying to accomplish, right? I can see, okay, this tank's going to move in and try to pull Penguin Mafia away from the center because they're taking too much fire. It makes sense. But the next step is not being planned out of, okay, what happens when all the tanks now destroy that Bulldog?
Yeah.
You've lost a tank. You still don't have more HP from the center.
Yeah. And that kind of a strategy, while it worked in the old version of Cliff, I don't think that's exactly the strategy we need to see to win on Cliff when you're the attacker. When you're the attacker on Cliff in the new format, I think that you need something a little bit more decisive and something that's really going to set the tempo that your opponent's going to have trouble responding to. That kind of a blitz, which is going to depend on your lineup, and it's going to depend on your opponent's lineup and how you're going to be able to execute that. And I think WreaK HavoK has not quite figured that out yet, and they're still playing around with old strategies that used to work.
Hopefully something will work for WreaK HavoK now that the tables have turned. WreaK HavoK will be on the defense as Penguin Mafia is on the attack. Battle number 3 between these two teams is about to begin. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
For tanks, we've got 2 Pershings, 1390 RU-251, T-49, and 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. That is Penguin Mafia. They're the red team and they are attacking. Defending, WreaK HavoK. The blue team will have 3 Pershings, a T-69, 1390 RU-251, and an M41 Walker Bulldog. 55 points on WreaK HavoK.
Yes, there is.
That is, I think that's an extra point right there.
That is an extra point. Waiting on confirmation from the admin. Looks like there's going to be a reset here.
Or we'll get the ruling in a moment. Depends on what happened in that situation.
Sure.
If someone readies up an extra tank and goes over points, I believe that the standard is that they would actually forfeit that. But we'll have to see on the ruling from the admin. It looks like everyone has left the battle except for some members of Penguin Mafia. But that's a bit strange to see. I was really confused when I saw that lineup, and I was looking at the numbers. 54 points in this. 55 would change things quite a bit.
Yeah.
There would be one lineup, actually.
Yeah, that would.
There'd be one lineup. It would be a tier 7, rest tier 8s. All of it.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
He
probably thought, I'll bring a tier 6, guys. I got this. Oh, that's a tier 7.
I'm getting the announcement that Penguin Mafia is going to get the win on that one because
Okay.
WreaK HavoK has brought an improper amount of points.
Got it.
They went over. Instead of bringing 54 points, they have brought 55. It's not allowed, and they have a 60-second timer to ready up their tanks. If they ready up the wrong points, it's on them.
All right, well, thank you to our admin, Tim, taking care of that, and the rest of our production team as we wait for the tank selection process to complete for these tankers. I want to talk a little bit more about Cliff and the changes we have seen over the amount of time it's been out. Season 2. Season 2 is when Cliff was introduced, I believe, to the map pool.
Yeah, it was.
We made some changes. We took away Airfield. Oh my gosh, you remember Airfield?
I don't want to remember
Airfield. Nobody went north. Airfield was, don't go north, and there's this area where everybody fights.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And it was disappointing because I thought there was so much more that could be explored.
Sure.
I think it was that, just like Abbey, a lot of teams just didn't enjoy it. They did not enjoy it as much as other maps. And it was cool to experiment with it. It was about the appropriate size. It just wasn't the appropriate style map. It didn't have the options that you needed and the flexibility afforded to you. It was maybe a little bit too restricting to a few lanes.
It wasn't ideal compared to other maps that we had potentially available. Cliff was one of those maps. The players wanted Cliff, talked about it. Wargaming said, all right, we're taking out Airfield. We're bringing in Cliff. I like Cliff a lot. And the changes in particular on the eastern side, with it becoming a road rather than a haphazard cliff climb for some of those 1390s.
Yeah, when they added that little defilade, there's a little low ground farther to the east, on the east side there. I like that. And then you were also talking about the west, that when they made it a smooth road, that did make it much easier. And it didn't change its function. It just changed the timings a little bit. And I think made it a little prettier and easier for most new players to recognize that this is a path. Whereas maybe maybe this is a game design standpoint, they realize probably this cliff doesn't look like it can be climbed. Experienced players will know, but we want people who are newer to the game to be able to understand the concept that we're trying to introduce here.
Really explore the space. Is
yes,
why
they really want
Belarus. We want you to explore this map. We want you to enjoy the beautiful water, the viewpoints up there. But the balance on both sides, right? I mentioned the east, that's the lighthouse side, but the west, I was talking about that road that was added. When it was first introduced and teams were playing it for the first time in the WGLNA, we saw this massive push coming from the south using that western road, and teams that were in the center going, whoa, we forgot about this. We were not ready for this type of aggression happening. And that more open avenue on the western side made the map more utilized, I think, on both positions.
It was because I think some tanks that otherwise would have trouble getting up there,
yes.
or also because it was a bottleneck. You could get one tank up, you couldn't fit anyone side by side.
I always think of a bag of kittens. When he was trying to go up there, he got caught and utterly annihilated, and the rest of Refuse That I went down because of it. But I always remember that case with a bag of kittens trying to climb up that eastern side, can't quite make it in his 1390 for some reason. Oh no, there's 3 tanks up there and I'm dead.
Yeah, and then everyone was stuck below.
Yep, yeah. Everybody was stuck below. And
with that, I certainly do like the road, the way it works out as far as the opening a bottleneck. Yeah.
So Penguin Mafia took a win.
Yes.
Off of this section of Cliff, so that means we're going into battle number 4 of Cliff. Penguin Mafia is up 3-0 against WreaK HavoK. Randall, we have 54 points. I can confirm that. What do we have for tanks?
All right, we've got 2 Pershings, a 1390 RU-251, T-49, 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. That is the side of Penguin Mafia. WreaK HavoK, the blue team in north, has brought a Pershing, 3 1390s, RU-251, and then 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. I like both of these lineups. The 1390s speaks to mobility on WreaK HavoK's part, and Penguin Mafia has some options in their Pershings. Scrublet, you're going to have to prove that your tank is valuable to me. This is what Scrublet's job is today. I don't care about winning or losing on their part. He needs to prove that this tank is really valuable and can be employed usefully. I feel like the reload makes for it being far too bursty for my taste, but we'll see how that works out.
Some shots on the move from WreaK HavoK as they move over to the donut on the west side. And
up and over. They have no base to defend. They have no place that they need to be. They can simply leave in this situation. And they are. Scrublet is going north, and it looks like the cap is going to be under attack, and it's going to be screened. Perfect move by Penguin Mafia. This shows a lot of prep work on their part, as the Pershings are going to move up, be on a high ground, and WreaK HavoK is in a horrible position, like a nightmare position.
Rainbow in the 1390 doing his best to get to the northern side and turn around on the flank. However, he has been spotted. They know he's coming. He's been hit once, and firing is Triumph. And the RU-251 unable to connect. Kaiser Soze is very low. on hit points as he tries to move in. Call me Sarge gets hit for 232. 25 seconds left on the flag cap as WreaK HavoK tries to defend against Penguin Mafia, who is up 3-0 in this series. Rich Sniper moving in for the reset. Can he get it? One reset did happen. Rich Sniper will fall momentarily. Down he goes. Wolf Knife Laser Bacon.
There he goes. All right, this looks great for Penguin Mafia. They can keep capping. Yes, they're going to take a little damage here and there. Losing Gigmaster, actually, that hurts a lot. Never mind, I might have to eat my own words here. I thought he was solid, but apparently not. The high ground going to WreaK HavoK here might be able to give them enough of an edge to get back. Triumph is exposing himself a lot, and he might not be able to reciprocate all the damage. Wolf Knife and Armor need to make some hits happen. Otherwise, it is a 3v 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Sario 42 holding any type of...
Scrubble goes down to Call Me Sarge, placing himself well.
And there goes Triumph. This was a nice placement by Sario 42 by holding this section right here, not allowing reinforcements to get to that flag cap. But 12 seconds remain. No, there's a reset from Sario 42 and then RU251. And there goes Wolf Knife Laser Bacon. Laxbra on the 1390. Now moving away from his position. His armor falls. Laxbra, last one left alive. And Sario 42, whose stats we definitely have to check after this battle, falls. And WreaK HavoK puts a point on the board.
All right, that is exactly what they needed. It looked like a very competent attack from Penguin Mafia. Everything appeared as though it was working out very well. What happened, I think, that tipped the scales is that we saw, I think, Blaze Zero, would that be correct, in the Pershing. Actually, he just went out into the open towards his opponent's position, and I think the timing was such that when WreaK HavoK decided, I need to get off the cap, we have no control, well, out of this position, we have to get control of our cap, they found this Pershing for free that was out and exposed. So they got a tier 8 very early on in that engagement, and were able to keep that momentum going and take Penguin Mafia apart, even though it took them a while.
It did. But that patient play is very important when you have any type of advantage HP-wise. Some tankers will get a little bit impatient and they'll move forward going, I have this kill, I got it. But by the time they get to that corner to kill that tank, they've taken 500 HP's worth of damage. Is that tank worth it at that time? No. And that trade has now become, what was the...
Inefficient?
Inefficient victory, but not Pyrrhic.
Oh, Pyrrhic?
Pyrrhic.
Yeah.
Pyrrhic victory. Look it up, kids. It's a great word. Pyrrhic. Well, let's go ahead and tell them.
It means it effectively means an incredibly costly victory.
Yeah, you did win the battle, but the cost was so high, it's not really a victory.
At what cost?
At what cost? I was waiting for it.
At what cost?
Pyrrhic victory. I always pronounce it Pyrrhic.
No.
No, it's incorrect. All right. Thanks, Spanish. Always pronouncing everything exactly the same. I tell you, you learn a different language, and that's what happens. I bring that up in honor of RBIS because that's what they make fun of me for.
Your pronunciation?
Do you know I speak more languages? You know I'm studying Chinese. You remember
and
that
then he
video?
says konnichiwa,
Yeah.
which isn't Chinese. Right?
Aquavolt, shout out to you, my
It was
friend.
beautiful. His impression
forward.
of you is amazing.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It's pretty good. I didn't know I was that boisterous.
You have a big voice and a big personality.
I'm 6'2", 220 pounds.
Yeah. Thank you for sitting low in your chair.
And I've sat in a Sherman tank. I've loaded a Sherman tank, and I have never felt more inferior in my life, at least when it comes to stature. Incredible, these behemoths of armor, man. And to see them come to life in Fury, it's amazing. You need to go see it.
I, on the other hand, fit perfectly in a Sherman tank, as I am 5'10".
Yes. Game's about to begin. Battle number 5 taking place in Pro Heroica. Randall, what do you have for tanks?
We have a Carnivern. Ermagerd, it's a Carnivern. Played by Penguin Mafia. Canadian Mono, I love you. Blaze Zero's in the T32. Scrublets in a Pershing. 1390 from the Laxbra. We've got an RU251 and then 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs. Seems to be the standard light tank when you've got 2 tier 7s. HavoK will have a Pershing, 2 1390s, 2 RU251s, and then 2 Walker Bulldogs. I like the lineup from WreaK HavoK. Penguin Mafia, the Carnivern. You got me with that one. I may not agree that it's the perfect lineup, but if It's such a cool tank.
You are really happy about this.
I love it. It's.
I'm really happy about this hill placement coming from WreaK HavoK.
Oh.
I'm happy they're taking the eastern side. They've left one of their Pershings, Blackhawk 1819, next to the railroad tracks to get the long-range fire and to be that threat, allowing the rest of his team to move. Not necessarily. Well, they're not really hindered because now they're firing back, but Kaiser Soze takes a shot from Scrublet. Kaiser Soze takes a lot of hits in his Bulldog. Rich Sniper tries to trade fire, 471 in that volley against Scrublet. Now Laxbraw and Triumph, the Insult Tanker, have moved up to counter WreaK HavoK's position on the hill, and this is where WreaK HavoK needs to have plan B, or the next stage of their plan here, because if they sit up on the hill, time's going to tick away, and Penguin Mafia is going to take the win.
Well, they'll find a way to engage one way or another. Just give them a minute or two. Blackhawk does have a beautiful, beautiful shot on the side of Triumph and the Laxbraw. Really like that positioning. It might not work out. Canadian Mono, though, finally taking some hits as he gets a little aggressive. This is the point of WreaK HavoK's strategy, though, is to destroy tanks like Blaze Zero and Canadian Mono, who are in the city below them and very exposed. Blackhawk may go down soon, especially if Laxbraw is able to get it. There he is.
Gets it. Nice call. Ice Dragon still up top, along with Sariel 42. Sariel takes a hit for 142. Must have come from that Bulldog, as the Pershing, the 251, and the 1390 are waiting for him down south. More shots coming from Penguin Mafia from the center of the map as they continually hold to defend. Penguin Mafia 2 battle wins away from taking the series. WreaK HavoK fighting from a deficit, but this is where they need to start with their next plan here, Randall. 4 minutes and 35 seconds is not a whole lot of time to move to a different section of the map. And now the Bulldog, Ice Dragon, takes a big hit from behind for 124 damage as he leaves the hillside.
This is an incredibly strange position where WreaK HavoK had an advantage just having Blackhawk alive. Just having him alive afforded them the vision to possibly get a lead on Penguin Mafia. They did some damage, but with him gone, now we've got this slow play coming from Penguin Mafia that can just pick them apart, spot them, and then shoot at them from the sides where Blaze Zero and Canadian Mono are.
And that's what they've been doing. Now WreaK HavoK is trying to match that aggression with their own, but they are going to be outgunned as Sario 42 falls to armor Scrublet, and return fire goes down. Call Me Sarge still has plenty of HP, but how many shots left in his tank is the question. Triumph falls from Rainbow as Walker Bulldog, guided by armor, driven by armor, is down. Blaze Zero on the T-32, and that consistent fire is focusing on the 1390s coming his way. Laxbraw from behind fires against Rainbow. Canadian Mono waits for the hit, and the Carnivarn, as Call Me Sarge, still trying to get away from the danger. One more shot and he will fall. Rainbow, followed by Wolf Knife Laser Bacon, continues to press forward and gets the shot. Blaze Zero actually closing the deal. I
think Wolf Knife's got the autoloader and he's waiting on that reload. He'll have it in just a moment and might be able to finish off Sarge.
Call Me Sarge through the houses, still waiting for that chase. Can he get the ram damage for 75? He can. Does not kill him. One more shot, 3 minutes left. Plenty of time for Wolf Knife Laser Bacon to get it. Laxbraw moving into the mix. At 1390. Can he get? Oh, cannot get the ram damage, but Wolf Knife Laser Bacon gets the win with that shot, up 4-1 against WreaK HavoK. Penguin Mafia is one battle away from taking this series and closing the night with a victory. Moving on to the semifinals tomorrow, which will be going live at 4:45 with our pregame show, and then 5 o'clock for the first matchup. You don't want to miss it because we'll be able to crown our 2 teams, I believe, that are making it through, because we, unfortunately, Fnatic's no longer with us, so there is an opening. That means 2 teams will make it through this week, and they will still fight, however. We'll still have a series for the 2 teams to determine seeding in the league itself for Season 5.
There's also going to be a 3rd, 4th match played to decide, in case one of the teams is unable to join the Gold League, who would join then.
Okay.
Yeah, just a little note right there.
Also a good experience to have as well to practice in that 3rd, 4th place matchup.
It'll also give us a little, even further, nice 1 through 4th place that we'll know who's the best and who is maybe 3rd place.
For qualifier number 1. And as they sign up for qualifier 2, we want to remind everybody to please sign up. You can get more information, worldoftanks.com. Hit the tournaments button down below. You'll see Clan Wars, then tournaments. Hit tournaments, and then hit WGLNA, and there's more information about registration for Qualifier 2. And I believe we're going to see, if not most, all of these teams that didn't make it through today sign up for the second qualifier. It makes a difference. When you get through one, most of the time teams will prepare or will perform better in the second qualifier.
I was looking at some of the rosters for a few teams that were signing up for the second qualifier, and I did notice there's a few roster changes here and there. So some of these teams are experimenting with their rosters just to qualify. They're trying to see if they can get the lineup that can make it, and if not, they're willing to try another lineup that they've already determined to see if that one can make it in. There's a few players that I'm used to seeing in the Gold League that have kind of found their way onto a few teams for the second qualifier.
Can you imagine you got like your kid brother's got a friend named Joe who wants to play World of Tanks.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, man, if we don't make it in qualifier 1, you can sign up for qualifier number 2 for us.
Oh,
you don't make it. All right, Joe's going to be part of the team. Joe, oh boy, I can't wait. Got my first tier 6. Finally got camo on it.
Oh, I got a T-37.
Got a T-37, I can't wait. Then the T-37 turns around and kills every tank on the battlefield.
Everyone's like,
That's like a cool short film we just came up with, Randall.
boom, let's shoot that.
Let's shoot it. All right. Battle number 6 is going to be happening between Penguin Mafia and WreaK HavoK. What do we have for tanks?
For tanks, Carnivern again, T-32, Pershing, 1390, RU-251, and then 2 Bulldogs. That is Penguin Mafia. They are the blue team, still defending. WreaK HavoK, the red attacking. T-32, Pershing, 1390, 2 RU-251s, and, of course, 2 Bulldogs.
Pressing up in the center, we have the M26 Pershing by Team Blackhawk. Blackhawk 1819 and Rainbow 41.
Not bad. I like the little string of red tanks moving up the 1-2 line. Just one after the other. Kind of cute to see there. And I don't think any of them got spotted because the Penguin Mafia's opening scout runs are actually to defend their east cap. And because of that, they went and scouted the 5-6 line, spotting T-32 and Pershing, but I think leaving every single light tank completely hidden. And because Wolf Knife Laser Bacon is heading to the south currently, Penguin Mafia should have a good indication that WreaK HavoK has sent their light tanks to the west and they can do something with this.
Nice long shot from the RU-251. Rich Sniper gets a good hit on Blaze Zero. And another shot against the Walker Bulldog to the north. This is going to reveal the positioning of a number of tanks on the side of WreaK HavoK in the red as they put one tank on the flag cap to at least draw out some fire that can be punished. The Walker Bulldog, however, is moving in that northern section, trying to land a shot on Kaiser Soze. A couple more shots against Blaze Zero and the T-32. Blaze Zero is in a great hold-down position, at least in his area for the railroad tracks, but they know that is going to be a tough thing to overcome. They trade a little bit in the HP, and now they're moving to the center on the flag cap.
Yeah, Blaze Zero, unfortunately, was penned enough times in the 2 positions that you can actually pen a T-32 and hold down, up in his cupola, and then there's these tiny little viewports on the top of the hull. Just got penned time and time again, and now it looks like he's going to go down as Penguin Mafia has decided to go on the attack.
11 seconds left, 10 seconds left. Walker Bulldog and Triumph. You have to move now. You have to get a shot. You're moving too late. You're not going to get in the fray.
Is he going to do it? He's up and over.
And he misses a shot.
He's still got time.
1. And
he got it.
Barely gets it. Walker Bulldog does fall. Armor was the one in that tank. Triumph, the insult tanker, is going to take a number of hits here. And was this sacrifice too much for Penguin Mafia? Well, it looks like they're winning the southern and the middle game here on Pro Horovka, as the northern section is going to feature a 3-on-1. But Laxbra on the 1390 is moving in to try to help Triumph, who gets surrounded. Now Laxbra is going to be the one that will be surrounded. But Kaiser Soze gets shot from Canadian Mono from far away. And now the HP is starting to fall apart for WreaK HavoK.
One more shell on Kaiser, and he will go down. Laxbra not able to zero it. And he's reloading, and he will go down soon, but Mono is able to pick up Kaiser Soze.
2 tanks remain, and Rich Sniper presses in to get that last shot and the kill. Canadian Mono lands a couple hit. Wolf Knife, Laser Bacon, and Scrublet with a nice volley continue to put pressure on that RU-251, and he falls. Serio 42 moving as fast as he can to get away from the action. 3 minutes and 25 seconds left. A railroad divides him and his opponents. A railroad divides Penguin Mafia from finishing this series and moving on to the semifinals tomorrow. The RU-251 lands a nice shot against Wolf Knife Laser Bacon for about 300 damage. Continues to move to that northern section, dodges a shot from Scrublet, and now Penguin Mafia can either play the waiting game for the 3 minutes to finish for their victory as the defenders, or chase down Sario 42. Nice shot on the side from Wolf Knife Laser Bacon for 149. Another shot against the RU-251 could incapacitate him here. Can't get the track shot. Misses a shot above Wolf Knife Laser Bacon, and Canadian Mono's going to move up. Randall, it's only a matter of time now. A couple more shots, and boom, goes the dynamite. WreaK HavoK is out. Penguin Mafia is in for tomorrow, 5-1.
Impressive play. WreaK HavoK, not quite the team that they need to be yet to compete in the Gold League. A little more work, but this is a brand new roster. They could do it. WreaK HavoK is an old name in World of Tanks, at least in America. And all power to him. Sarge is a guy I've known for a long time. I think give him a little time and he might be able to get the team together. Penguin Mafia. That
they
looks
are looking great. They're looking tight. They're looking clean. They're looking like a well-oiled machine. There we go.
And they did take a little bit of a risk here. I was scared. Penguin Mafia, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I thought they were throwing that one away for some reason.
So close. I thought it was going to say base capture and it was going to be over with. It was getting to that point. It's not easy as any type of player to go, okay, if I don't move and die, we all lose. Because it is a sacrificial type play, but you have to do it. It has to get done. Thankfully, I think he had the T-37 with him as well to land hopefully a couple more shots just in case. That shot on the move was scary because it was a miss.
Yes.
And he was able to get it, I believe, because of the ram damage, but too close, a little bit too close. And that's something if Penguin Mafia is going to go back and watch their replays, hey, this type of scenario, like by the time the commander makes the command for you to press forward, it's already too late. You have to make that initiation, that initiative. You have to have that initiative.
The top players are the kind of people who don't always need orders. They need to be coordinated. They need to communicate with their team. There's the commander who has a strategy in mind and is thinking on that level. The best players are the kind of guys who can recognize when they are needed to do something beyond what they are asked. You know, to push in and stop the cap. They'll tell the rest of their team, and they'll go do it. It's little things like that. Timing is something that Penguin Mafia scared me with on that one. I don't know if that was an order or if that was a player saying, I need to do this right now. But it was just in the nick of time. And I think Penguin Mafia, while they take some risks like that, it looks like they're reaping the rewards today.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the matches for tomorrow to determine who's going to be joining us in those two spots for Season 5. We have Simple Tankers versus the Doge Squad, our first matchup tomorrow. Simply Irresistible versus Penguin Mafia, and then the first match winner versus the second match winner. These four teams, Randall, I am impressed to see all together tomorrow, and I'm impressed as well and a little bit scared that it could be Simply Irresistible versus Simple Tankers in the finals.
None of the other matches? Like, think about Doge Squad. What if we finally get Doge Squad into the Gold League? It's been time after time. They keep trying and barely not making it, but this could finally be the time where we get to see some Doge Squad in the Gold League.
And same for Penguin Mafia as well. These are some big storylines here for tomorrow. It could go either way. One of the biggest and unique things, too, is that as soon as we have a Match 1 and Match 2 winner, both those teams, I believe, confirmation here, are going to Season 5.
Yes.
Because there's 3 slots total that are open for qualifiers. We fill 2 this week and 1 next week.
Yeah, the way it works is if a team were to retire from the Gold League, for example, like Fnatic did,